The cafeteria was buzzing with noise, kids laughing, swapping sandwiches, tearing into their lunches. But at the far corner table, a little girl sat alone, staring into an empty lunchbox. Her name was Emily, just 7 years old. She wasn't crying. Not yet. Instead, she unfolded a small piece of paper tucked neatly inside. She read the words silently, her lips trembling. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry. Mommy couldn't pack lunch today. I'll make it up to you tonight with extra hugs. Be strong for me. Love, Mom." It was a note written with shaky handwriting, evidence of a mother trying, but failing. And just a few tables away, Mr. Carter, the school's largest donor and a powerful CEO, was visiting that day. He wasn't supposed to be in the cafeteria at all, but destiny has its own plans. He saw her. He saw the way she carefully folded that note back, pretending she wasn't hungry, pretending everything was fine. And something about that moment pierced him. Mr. Carter was a man used to boardrooms, investments, billion-dollar deals. But as he watched Emily, his mind didn't see a stranger, he saw himself, decades earlier. A little boy in torn shoes. An empty stomach. A single mother who had nothing but love and scraps of hope. Back then, he too had notes. Not lunch, but notes. Words that tried to fill the emptiness of hunger. Words like, "One day, things will be better. One day, you won't be alone." And yet, here he was, years later, sitting in a tailored suit, watching history repeat itself in a little girl. He quietly got up and walked to the cafeteria counter. The staff recognized him immediately, startled by his presence. "Could you prepare a lunch tray?" he asked softly. Minutes later, he carried it himself, a tray with warm food, a small juice box, and a cookie. Not expensive. Not extravagant. Just a real meal. When he set it down in front of Emily, her eyes widened. "For me?" she whispered, clutching the note in her small hand. "Yes," he said with a gentle smile. "For you. Every child deserves a full lunch." Emily hesitated, then asked innocently, "Do you know my mom?" The question caught him. He swallowed hard. "Not yet," he said softly. Later that day, Mr. Carter asked the principal about the little girl. What he discovered broke him further. Emily's mother was a single parent, working 2 jobs, still unable to make ends meet. She skipped meals so her daughter could eat. But today, there had simply been nothing left. That note in the lunchbox wasn't carelessness, it was sacrifice. And suddenly, Mr. Carter realized something. All the wealth in the world meant nothing if it couldn't heal the very pain he once carried. That evening, Emily's mom, exhausted after her late shift, heard a knock at the door. When she opened it, she froze. Standing there wasn't a neighbor or bill collector, it was Mr. Carter himself. "I met your daughter today," he said gently. Her face turned pale, embarrassed, ashamed. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, tears welling. I didn't mean for anyone to notice." But instead of judgment, he handed her an envelope. "This isn't charity. It's an investment, into your daughter's future. Into hope." Inside was not just financial support but also a scholarship letter for Emily, ensuring she'd never go hungry again, never be left behind. The mother broke down, sobbing. "You don't understand. I've been praying every night. I didn't know how much longer I could hold on." And Mr. Carter's voice cracked as he whispered, "I do understand. I was your daughter once." At that moment, Emily walked out, clutching the same note from her lunchbox. She handed it to him, smiling through innocence. "You can keep this," she said. "Mommy says love is stronger than being hungry." And the mighty CEO, this man known for his steel nerves and power, finally broke. Tears streamed down his face. Not because of the words, but because a child had reminded him of the one thing money could never buy: unconditional love. From that day forward, Mr. Carter started a foundation to ensure no child at that school, or in the entire city, would ever open an empty lunchbox again. Emily's little note, written out of a mother's desperation, had become the spark for change. And years later, When Emily stood on stage at her graduation, she held that same crumpled note in her hand. She said, "This was the note that fed me when there was no food. And it was the note that changed my life forever." The audience stood in tears, applauding, not for wealth, not for power, but for kindness, sacrifice, and humanity. Because sometimes, the smallest piece of paper carries the biggest miracle.